welcome back to the third and final day of Paris Peace Forum. So, before we introduce the amazing guest we have here with us, I just want to ask you a quick question, two questions just now. As the fondateur, the founder of the forum, the director general, are you the one making all the decisions? Is the French government making the decisions behind the scenes? I'm curious to know, which is a lot of the questions that people ask, who's making these decisions regarding editorial line, who gets invited, which world leader takes the stage? So yes.
So no, these are fair questions, and it's true that it's really necessary to be as transparent as possible. As many of you know, the Paris Peace Forum is an association de loi 1901, which means it's the sort of garden variety of NGOs in France. So it's an independent organization that is run by its board, if you'd like, which we call the Conseil Exécutif. The Conseil Exécutif is made up of currently 10 organizations. 5 are from the north, 5 are from the south. Among them is the French government, so one of the 10. And we are fortunate to be able to count on the support of the French government for many things, including all the protocol issues, invitation of heads of state. They help us to do that, but they do not decide on the editorial line of the forum, which is really a prerogative of that board of these 10 organizations. Let me name them briefly. On top of the Quai d'Orsay, we have the Institut Montaigne, we have IFRI, these are 2 think tanks. We also have Sciences Po, the university in Paris, and the Körber Stiftung, which was there from the start. Then we have 5 organizations from the south, including the Aga Khan Development Network, the Mo Ibrahim Foundation, the Foreign Policy Community of Indonesia, the Research and Information Service from India, from Delhi, and lastly, Mexico Evalúa from Mexico. And so these are the ones calling the shots and deciding on the editorial line of the forum.
Okay, thank you for that clarity. Tell us what goes on to put this production up, right? I've heard people talk about how this is an incredibly well-oiled machine, but it takes a mammoth task to do this. So who do we have to thank for being well-fed, for being on time, for this production at this scale?
Absolutely, and I would say for the platform to run smoothly, which is a real technical challenge. Last year, we experimented with this platform that you're using now. This year, we've been using the same platform, but it has even fewer glitches than it had a year ago. The production here, what you see around us, is all the work of Auditoire, which has been our event agency from the start, and we can give a big up to them. And they are being helped for the platform part by another contractor, which is named Mediactive, and which is all the colleagues behind the control rooms, I would say, and being able to produce all of this. So the association, the Paris Peace Forum, the board has decided that Auditoire and Mediactive would be the contractors and would be helping us putting all of this together.
And the secretariat?
And the secretariat, of course, is the real producer of this event in terms of substance, in terms of what goes on, in terms of selecting the project with the jury and showcasing them, in terms of devising the program made up of 80 sessions, 360 speakers, so it's a mammoth task. And so we have a team of about 30 people now working all along the year to produce this.
Okay, perfect. And with that, I want to introduce you to our guest that we have here today. She's called Amie Patel. She's one of the project leaders that we are platforming this year out of the 80 projects that we have. Amie, I think, has traveled the furthest to be here with us, for which we are incredibly grateful. The project she has brought to Paris Peace Forum is called the Elevar Method of Investing, which is led by Elevar Equity. And I think it talks about a business model that values customer service, that talks about affordability at scale, entrepreneurship with ambition. Those are a lot of buzzwords.
Yes.
I want you to deconstruct what that means. You're the managing director of Capital Partnerships. So perhaps if you could tell us, what is it that you do?
Thank you for this amazing opportunity. It's been such a great learning experience here. So Elevar we are a venture capital firm. We take early stage investment bets on companies that are looking to deliver essential products and services to low-income and underserved populations. So think about things that you and I may take for granted, so access to finance, education, healthcare, housing. We're looking to create a business model that provides these access points or these products in an affordable way and alleviates pain points for this customer segment. The customer segment that we're targeting is truly that large base of the pyramid that earns anywhere from $2 to $15 a day. So it is that aspiring class that has lifted themselves up from poverty and has the desires to have much more in life, but isn't properly served by the traditional markets. So we find entrepreneurs that bring anywhere from 10 to 20 years of professional experience, and they're looking to solve a problem in society. They want to leverage their experience and develop these products and focus on this customer segment.
And what geography are you basing this on? Like, where do you do the work that you do?
So we have been investing over 15 years in India and in Latin America. And across Latin America, we focused on Mexico, Brazil, and Argentina.
Okay. Do you want to?
Yes, absolutely. So, what are your sources of inspiration? Because many people have been trying to do better in serving let's say, the lower classes who don't have access to these services. What is the origin of Elevar, of this method, and what have the inspirations been?
Sure. When the founders came together, the inspiration was to prove that you can bring a commercial approach and elevate the work that a lot of nonprofits had been doing and taking the baton and bringing capital markets into this segment and elevating these entrepreneurs and being able to scale the enterprises. And so for us, we've been able to deploy over $200 million of equity capital and have that crowd in private sector capital alongside us at the tune of $2 billion. So these are companies that have taken small nonprofits, converted them to for-profit institutions, and taken them public onto public exchanges. Just to showcase that there are ways to serve this class through a more private sector solution.
And how do you choose what portfolio you want to invest? Like, what is the decision-making process?
So we are looking for a company that's targeting a customer that has a high wallet share and has demonstrated demand for a product. We're matching that with a business model that is able to deliver that product at an affordable price. So when you think about the unit economics, you're looking for a unit economics that can maintain that price for that customer segment. So if the cost of going to an affordable private school is $400 this year, it doesn't go to $600 next year and increase over time. It stays at that price point to ensure that there's that long-term connection with the customer segment. And then we're looking for entrepreneurs that bring that experience, connections, and ability to attract talent to uncover this opportunity. And if you get all of that right, scale is the byproduct.
Amie, I'm curious, how did you hear about the Paris Peace Forum, and what was the journey that took you here with us today?
So we were actually approached by a couple of entities that we know really well that are partners of the Paris Peace Forum. So the Ford Foundation and Open Society are well known to us. And so through conversations with them, we were able to sort of uncover what this forum was about. It is a little bit different than our normal sort of ecosystem that we operate in, but it's important for us to understand the different government groups and nonprofit groups that are working with this customer segment and finding ways to partner with them at our company levels.
Great.
Can I ask you, I think you're underscoring the need for treating low-income communities with dignity.
Exactly.
Right? And that's something like my home country is India. I think we have a strong Indian connection here. And I see this when children go to government schools, there is a sense of just an apologetic look because the infrastructure is abysmal, there is no places to sit. So how do you bring that conversation when you're having numbers like 40 million low-income households served, billions of dollars of capital raised, working with 40 companies, and I'm guessing you also work a lot in the United States. So how do you bring a conversation centered around dignity within your business model?
We do like to think of ourselves as like the private sector civil servant. We're really here to bring corporations to the surface and elevate the voice of this customer segment. So we think of, say, take that school example. You're actually looking at one rung higher. You're looking at the affordable private schools where there is actually an English medium. And the way that we get to understand the market dynamics is actually going into the village, going into tier 2, tier 3 cities, speaking directly to small business owners, to school owners, to students, to moms, to parents, and getting a sense of what their actual demands are, what their aspirations are. That's our market research, and we leverage all of that and look to find business opportunities that match those demands. And it's through that insight, it's a bottoms-up analysis that allows us to have a little bit of a competitive advantage over more traditional venture capital that goes into the market.
Perfect.
I see.
Thank you.
Have you been able to make to do meetings and meet interesting people to develop the project? Have you been able to make connections here at the forum?
We've made a few connections, and we're continuing to look for other projects and other participants that want to learn more about our program, but also want to get deeper with our portfolio companies and understand what they're doing on the ground to see if there's ways to connect, especially given the customer segment that we're all focusing on.
Excellent. And so, what does 2022 look like? And with the let's say the momentum with the Paris Peace Forum, and I'm sure other initiatives that you're taking. How do you look at the year coming now, and what are the projects of expansion or scaling?
Sure. So we hope that in 2022. That's next year. That's crazy. In 2022, that more and more people understand the Elevar Method, understand its importance, think about that as a different way of investing private capital. We are raising more capital for our own strategy to deploy into more companies. And so we're looking for partners along the entire journey.
Mm-hmm.
Just final question before we wrap up real quick. Capitalism has become a dreaded word in today's political culture. I think it's important to have these conversations, right? So are you finding more difficulty than you did before when you're talking about capitalism? And how are you perhaps relooking at the structure? Where do you think it falls within the umbrella of Paris Peace Forum, which is also why we wanted to bring you on board here to address the topic like that?
I think it's time for us to reevaluate what motives and incentives are in the more private sector capital markets. Capitalism does have a little bit of a gray cloud on top of it right now, and we think we are an entity that can bring some light through that darkness, because there is a way to apply a very private sector approach while still creating deep impact for this customer segment. And so we're looking for partners to elevate that story, both on the private and on the public side.
Thank you. Do you want to perhaps look at the camera and tell the audience watching, who we have a broad portfolio of audience watching, right? Some civil society to businesses to heads of states and dignitaries, as to what you need to get to the next step that you envision for your project. So what do you need exactly, the community to help you with, as well as how can they follow the work that you do?
So what we need is more partners, we need more capital, and our companies need more support on the ground. The way to find out more about us is at our website, www.elevarequity.com, and we welcome any sort of conversation, both at the fund level as well as at our portfolio company level.
Excellent. Thank you. This was Amie Patel. Amie, thank you very much.
Patel.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm sorry.
French people with their accents. I'm joking.
Already, always botching people's names. And she's in charge of the Elevar Equity project. Thank you for being with us. That was great.
Do you want to tell the audience about any other parallel sessions going on, or where they can?
Yes. Maybe we should tell you and perhaps prepare also an important session, which is the closing ceremony that we'll have from 4:30 to 5:30 p.m. Paris time, and where we'll do two things. One is we want to use that closing session to do an assessment of COP26. We should have a number of interesting interventions, interesting speakers. If everything goes as planned technically, we have technical problems to solve. We should have John Kerry, the US Special Envoy for Climate, speaking us live from Glasgow. We should have also, and we will have, an intervention by Minister Hong Qiu from China, giving his assessment of COP26. We'll have assessment from the European Investment Bank, so European perspective on these things, as well as by Ban Ki-moon, the former Secretary General of the UN, whom Forum, who, as you know, is very much involved through the Global Green Growth Institute into the climate negotiations. So we'll have a very interesting, it's not a panel, it will be more like short interventions, trying to assess what COP26 delivered, and more importantly, what needs to be done next after COP26 and towards the most probably Egyptian COP of 2022. And that will be the beginning of the closing session. But then we'll have another really important moment, which I'll let you announce during that closing ceremony.
Is this the announcement of the 10 projects?
It is the announcement.
Okay, so we have Amie here with us, but as we keep reminding you, we also have 80 projects that we have selected this year. Usually it's 100 projects. This year we brought it down to 80 to truly be able to cater to the needs of each project as best as we can. And we have 10 selected projects that we will be announcing. Now, this is not to say that these 10 selected projects are in any way better than any of the 80 amazing projects that we have, but we just have certain criteria where we think that these specific projects could benefit from the year-long tailored support that we provide them.
I think they're applauding you, or they're applauding. And thank you. And then we look forward to seeing you a bit later. Please follow the sessions on the platform. And I hope to that we'll have a great closing ceremony. See you later.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You.